Antapa here from RetroGamesCollector.com with a pickups video and some news of an event I'll be attending this weekend. It's Thursday now. The event is on the 15th of October. It's at the station in Cannock and it's called the RetroStation. It's like a retro themed party basically. There'll be music, there'll be arcade machines, there'll be consoles out for people to play on. There'll be us selling, I'll be there with a stall selling bits and bobs from my collection. I was going to be there selling as retro gear. As you know, I am trying to start my own store up again. My own online store, and I will also be selling at events, but alas, I'm still chugging away putting things on the site and it's still not ready to be launched. So it's not launched yet, so I'll be selling as a private seller at this gig. It looks a great gig. It's like I say, it's a retro party themed event. There'll be cartoons playing in the background, retro cartoons. There'll be music. Like I say, there's arcade machines, consoles for us to play. There'll be stalls selling things. I'll be there selling stuff. Just bits and bobs from my collection now. And it looks really good. It's hosted by and organised by Kapow Events. I'll put all the details below for Kapow's channel, also their Facebook page, etc. And also details of the actual gig. So if any of you guys can come, it would be absolutely fantastic to see you. Come and I'll have my Retro Games Collector t-shirt on. Just come and say hello. It'd be great to meet you guys. Pickups, yeah, lots of them. It's been quite a while again since I did a video, mainly because I'm trying to get my store up and running, which still isn't. I've been saying this for blinking ages now, so it's been, what, how many videos have I said this in now? Well, I'm trying to get my store up and running, that's why I've not been around. Well, I'm still saying it. Yeah, something that I've looked at and thought, I don't know whether to start adding those sort of things to my Sinclair collection or not, because they're not strictly Sinclair as you probably know them. They are American Sinclair, so the Timex Sinclair machines, and the one that I have finally got hold of, and I think it's going to start something, to be honest. I think I'll end up with all the Timex machines now. I've already got a Timex 1000, which is like a ZX81 clone. Started raining? Oh yeah, great. I've got to go and pick the kids up in a bit. It's this beauty. Absolutely mint. I mean, the thing is gorgeous. Look at it. Absolutely beautiful. Perfect condition, perfect working order. It's a Timex Sinclair 2068, as the Americans say. It's 2068 here in the UK. I'll keep with the American way of saying it, as it is an American machine. Yeah, 2068. It's basically a Spectrum clone, but doesn't work as a Spectrum as such. It's got a lot of enhancements. It was sold as a 72K computer, and it was released in 1984. But only 48K of that was RAM. 24K of it was ROM. It was also released in Portugal, Poland, Argentina as the TC 2068. TC being standing for Timex computer, and the TS stands for Timex Sinclair. So it was a TS 2068 in the US, the TC 2068 everywhere else. It's basically got an AY chip in it. It's got different graphics modes, much better, much enhanced graphic modes. It's got a ROM port, which ironically I think was mainly used to plug in a ZX Spectrum emulator ROM, because I think this runs 10% of, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody who knows more about these than I do, it runs 10% of the current, or what was then the Spectrum library. So people that had these because they wanted to play the entire Spectrum library then added a Sinclair Spectrum ROM in there, which then emulated the Spectrum so that they can actually play the entire Spectrum library, which is a bit strange really, because this is an enhanced Spectrum and technically this could play much better, this could show much better graphics on the screen, and it's a much more capable machine, but ironically it was used mainly to emulate a Spectrum. Strange really, but yeah, and there it is. It came in polys, which also are in fantastic nick, come with manual and original PSU, which I have to use a step down transformer for it to work in the UK. I was so pleased with that. It's a very nice addition to the collection, and I think now I'm going to be looking for a 2048 to go with it. As I say, okay, with polys in absolutely great, fantastic condition, really good. Very pleased with that. That was off eBay, straight from the States, and it wasn't expensive, 40 odd quid I think is all I paid for it. So very pleased with that. I've also been buying for my favourite little machine again, the ZX81. Now I'm sure I had a Rocket Man, but I haven't been able to find my Rocket Man, and it's a gap in my collection, in my software farm collection, so I've added another Rocket Man to my collection. If I find the other Rocket Man, it will be up for sale, I would imagine. Arctic Gobbleman, Arctic Inca Curse, lots of Arctic here, Arctic Ship of Doom, 1K ZX Chess by Arctic, and Community Chess by Arctic. More eBay stuff. This is my most recent stuff that I've bought. I got this again. I don't know whether you can see that. I posted some images of this online that I took with my my Nikon, just to show how mint this computer was. It's as mint inside as it is outside. It's probably one of the earliest Spectrums I've got. Whether you can make out that serial number there. It's a very early Spectrum, a very early Series 2. So early, it's still got the Series 1 ULA in it, with the dead cockroach. The dead cockroach, for those who don't know, it's not an actual dead insect. It's a little board about this big, tiny little board, with lots of little wires coming out of it, attached to various points on the motherboard, which corrects some errors that there were on the issue 1 board, and obviously on the issue 2 board as well. And it's got the nickname the Dead Cockroach. It sits there on top of the IC inside on the Spectrum motherboard, looking a bit like a cockroach, I suppose. No, not really, but that's what it's called. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with that, because it's technically sort of in between an issue 1 and an issue 2. A lot of people call it an issue 1.5. Technically there isn't an issue 1.5, but I can see where they're coming from. It's an issue 2 board with an issue 1 ULA and Dead Cockroach, so you know it's a sort of in between the two. Really pleased with that. Like I say, in absolutely beautiful condition, inside and out. It's like new. I don't know where this was stored or how it was stored, but it's obviously had very little use. Again, it works perfectly, so I'm really pleased with that. I'm not going to touch it actually. I'd normally composite mod most of my Speccy so that I can use them, but I'm not going to touch this one because historically it's a nice thing to have, and it's also in such good nick. I don't want to mess with it, so I'm going to leave that as it is. I also got another Spectrum from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I hope I've said that right. I hope I said that correctly. Another really nice condition Spectrum, not as good as the other one. And the reason I got this one is because it was a bit intriguing. It had got no serial number on it, no serial here, and it's also got the little adjustment hole that you get on issue 1 cases and early issue 2 cases. So I was wondering what on earth it was. As it happens, it's just a very late issue 2 in there. When I say very late, it's almost the exact polar opposite to this baby, which is a super early issue 2. This is a very, very late issue 2 with the 0016 ULA in it. Just before they crossed over to issue 3. So another nice Spectrum to have, but a bit of a disappointment. I was hoping, against all hope, that may be a yellow PCB board in there, but it's not. Kind of everything. I don't think I've done too badly recently. Oh, with the first Spectrum I just showed you, came with this absolutely mint and looks unused power pack as well, and it's actually the wrong power pack for that, for an early issue 2. An early issue 2 would have a 1.2 amp power pack. This one's a 1.4, so it's actually the wrong power pack for it, but nevertheless it's nice, clean, looks unused, like I say. Nice clean power pack, and the RF lead. Not that that really means a lot. Charity shops. I don't have a lot of luck around the charity shops around here. Always seem to be cleaned out. They never seem to have anything that either I'm just really unlucky. I live in an area where nobody's got any retro stuff that they take to the charity shops, or it gets cleaned out by people who are up earlier than me on a morning. Could well be the latter, because you know I'm not renowned for getting up, especially on weekends, and I just don't have a lot of luck. But I went to a local charity shop in my local town a couple of weeks ago now, and I saw these lying on the shelf. So what we've got here, we've got PS1 in beautiful condition again. I'm lucky with the condition of the stuff I'm finding recently. Beautiful condition PS1, which looks pretty much unused again. Came with this controller, which I'm 100% sure has never been used. There's not a bit of dirt or anything in any of the grooves, and that cable looks to me like it's factory tied still. So I'm pretty sure this only came with a PSG, obviously, working perfectly. That was a £5, which I thought was really good. And I also got this original PlayStation, which again is in very nice condition. Both pack tested, not that that means a lot. I think that's just to so they can sell it on in the charity shop. So I think there's regulations now with electricals in charity shops. I think they've all got to be pack tested before they go out. And a bag of controllers and the leads for it. Both working perfectly and both in very nice condition. So, and they were a £5 each. So for a tenner, I got all that. So I was very pleased about that. That's about it. When I say lots, there wasn't really lots, was there? But what there was, to me, was quite important. That 2068, I've sort of wanted a Timex machine for quite a while. Now I've got one. I think I'll carry on collecting them. I think, like I say, I'll get the 2048 next, which is shaped like a ZX Spectrum, an actual ZX Spectrum. And there's also the Timex 1500, which I want to get, which is the ZX80. It's like a ZX81 in a Spectrum case. The Spectrum case is silver. It looks amazing. I think it's one of the nicest looking home micros of the time, to be honest. So I'm desperate to get those now for the collection. Anybody knows anybody who's got one for sale? Just comment below, or get in touch with me direct on the website. I'd be happy to hear from you. Like I say, I think I'm going to be collecting those now. I may well get rid of some bits out of my collection just to make room for them, because it's getting a bit crazy up here at the moment. As you can see behind me, or as you can see, I've got a lot of consoles and I've got a lot of bits and bobs, and it's all getting a bit too much for this little loft room now, so I think I may have to trim back a little. He said that before, doesn't he? Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and until next time, keep it retro. Oh, and come to that event the weekend if you can. Bye.